Okay, turning to other news, the Edmonton Oilers, of course, they are gearing up for the Stanley Cup Finals against the Florida Panthers. Game 1, it is tomorrow, and the Oilers could very well become the first Canadian team in 31 years to bring the cup home. The big, shiny trophy has been making its rounds right across the country. It's accompanied by a bodyguard or a keeper of the cup. That is someone who travels year-long with the iconic trophy, inspiring fans while also ensuring it remains safe. The cup made a stop right here in the Canada Tonight studio, along with one of its keepers, Miragh Bitove. Here is the first woman to become the keeper of the Stanley Cup. And Miragh Bitove joins me now in studio, as does the Stanley Cup. Miragh, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So I read that you were a museum and history major. This must be a pretty cool gig.
It sure is. It's the best gig, honestly. Yeah, I came through art history and museum management programs and wanted to work in a museum and a gallery, and it was never quite the right fit until I paired sports with the museum. And I fell right into this about 20 yeyears ago.
Tell me a little bit about what that role entails.
Honestly, it's being within arm's reach the whole time you're with it. So we are a team. All of the cup keepers work with the keeper of the cup, Phil Pritchard, our boss. And part of that is really just being around for everywhere it's going to go. So in the summer, you're with the Stanley Cup champion team, of course, which we are really anticipating at this point. We're getting down the home stretch. And so wherever the team wants to be with it, we are alongside for the ride. And you get to see some pretty great things.
Oh, I can imagine. We'll talk about some of those great things and some of the places that this cup has been, but I wonder if you can take us down a little walk down memory lane and give us kind of a history lesson, a 101 on the cup.
So the Stanley Cup was awarded to the people of Canada by our Governor General at the time, Lord Stanley of Preston. He was based in Ottawa and was raising his kids there, and his kids became huge hockey fans. One of his daughters, Isabel, there's a trophy named after her as well, the Isabel Cup, but was a huge hockey fan and convinced her dad to buy this, it was a silver punch bowl at the time, and create a trophy.
It was just the top, right?
Yeah, just the bowl.
Right.
And so nowhere on this trophy does it say the Stanley Cup. It says from Stanley of Preston on one side, and on the other it says the Dominion Hockey Challenge Cup. So originally it was for the Dominion of Canada to play for, and it was a challenge cup where a winning team from, you know, a province, let's say it was an Ontario winning team, could be challenged for it. So maybe the winners of Manitoba would say, okay, we challenge you, Ontario. And so for the first handful of years, it was done a couple of times a year. There would be a champion. And then it evolved, and with the formation of the pre-NHL, the National Hockey Association, it was awarded to them, and then it's been with the NHL since their inception, basically.
Oh my gosh, so much history in this artifact. What are people's reactions like when they get to see it in person?
Honestly, you see everything. You see people break down into tears or shaking, or, you know, just those surreal moments, the jaw drop, the buggy eyes, and that, honestly, it never gets old. You know, I think in a lot of jobs it might be easy to get desensitized to something like this, but I really don't, and our team really doesn't. I mean, we get to see the best in people. People are really excited when we come around, and that's a really fortunate position to be in professionally.
Absolutely, and you've said even non-hockey fans get mesmerized by this. Why do you think it is? I mean, it is one of the most iconic trophies in the world. Yeah,
and it's not only just the trophy, it's the cultural representation. I mean, for Canadians, you know, whether you're a hockey fan or not, you're walking by road hockey games that are ultimately culminating in a Stanley Cup final among 6 to 12-year-old kids, you know, and beyond. It's just so ingrained in our Canadian culture, and I think, you know, well, northern countries as well with winter sports. But I'll speak as a Canadian by saying whether you like hockey or not, you know what this is.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so there have been some wild stories that I've heard about this cup and its whereabouts over the years. Can you share a couple of them?
Well, honestly, there's some really great old stories that are really just coming to us through historical tellings, really. It's been left on the side of the road.
Really?
In the old days when a tire had to be changed, a team was driving up the 401, I believe, and had to change a tire, took it out of the boot and left it in a snowbank, and then drove on their merry way. And before before realizing they'd left it behind, so had to double back, and thankfully it was still there. There's another great story where a championship team was having their photo taken in like a salon parlor photographer setting, and left the cup there, so it became a flower pot for a while before it was retrieved. There's some really neat pieces like that, but also it's been to the Great Wall of China. It's been it just went to the Southern Hemisphere for the first time in the fall. It went to Australia with the keeper of the cup, Phil, and yeah, it's truly been all over, right from your living room up to a big splashy hotel. You see all types of humanity, and it's great.
So with Vegas, you were there. Tell me what the travels were like and what that was like on that journey for yourself.
It was incredible. So the team has it for roughly 100 days after they've won it. So that basically takes you through the summer and up into the start of next season.
Right. And does each player get it for like a certain amount of time? Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
So the tradition is that each player gets it for a day, let's say roughly, and so it's got a curfew on it, but yeah, generally we'll spend the whole day with you, however you want to spend your day. And these moments are moments that these players have been dreaming of their whole lives or careers in hockey. What would I do? So we've seen everything from large splashy parties right down to just quiet living room time with parents and grandparents, and they're all incredible. Everything in between has been great. But that is also one of the best traditions of this trophy, where it's for the team that's won it, and it's for the people to enjoy. A lot of times they're taking it back to their home arenas where they grew up, or hospitals, and places that built them as a human, not only as a hockey player. And so that's part of the great tradition of this trophy, is it's not only going to the front offices or to the owners of the team, it's really for the team.
The trophy has had a long history, but you have broken some barriers here, becoming the first woman to work as a keeper of the cup. What's that like for you? And I know that you have a little girl as well. And what's that like as a mom?
As a mom, it's pretty great, and I mean, as a woman, also great. It's hard to put into words, honestly. I've just been doing this job for 20 years, and it's a job that I've loved, and having this, able to travel with the cup as an extension of that, it's honestly just a huge honor. But I do tell my kids, I've got 2 boys and a girl, and I tell them I'm going out there, and hopefully other girls can see me doing this job and think, wow, that's a job I could do, down the line. So truly, it's an honor, but I'm still just one of the team. I'm working with the same people I've been working with for years.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have to talk about this season because it's the Oilers, Florida Panthers. People in this country really want this to be here. Do you have any preferences? Are you allowed to say what your preferences are for who's to win the cup this year?
I'll be honest. My personal preferences put aside, I just love thinking of who is going to win it. I know there are a ton of Canadians on both teams, honestly. So it's going to be in Canada, and this is what we keep saying since the Montreal Canadiens won it last as a Canadian team. So I don't think there are any losers at this point. I won't make any predictions, but I'm just really excited to see where we're going to be this summer, and it's coming down to the line.
Absolutely, it is, and hopefully we will see. Might be back this year.
We'll see.
Miragh Bitove, thank you so much.
Pleasure to meet you. Thanks.